Google's not the only one in this space. I mean, part of what we've been discussing is Microsoft. Microsoft literally in the same week launched a version of its Bing search engine powered by OpenAI. So by Greg's company that you quoted.
Mhm.
And so Bing will now have ChatGPT-like conversational capabilities. So it can now respond to searches and queries in natural language like ChatGPT, and also use up-to-date information like Google's Bard product. So Kevin Roose, a big tech writer at the New York Times, he took the new capabilities for a test drive and reported being extremely impressed. And we now are hearing that Microsoft is also going to incorporate the technology into its Edge browser. And I don't know the exact numbers, but I think you saw crazy rises in the App Store for the browser, rises in the usage of Bing as a result. So, Paul, what do you kind of on the heels of Google? How do you view this announcement?
So if we go through the same lens as Google, the Microsoft PR team is winning. They won last week. Microsoft certainly came out of last week looking way better than Google. So kudos to them on their positioning. I think anyone who's watched interviews with Satya, it is almost hilarious how much he is reveling in this moment. He is very much enjoying the fact that they are forcing Google's hand here. He's almost taunting them. And I think we talked about this a little bit last week. I think he said something like, they had to dance and like were the ones that made him do it, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Of like he's not shy about the fact that they're happy that they're forcing Google's hand here. Okay, so that being said, I'm a fan of Microsoft. We don't use Microsoft, generally speaking. I mean, we use primarily Google products as an institute in my agency previously. I am on the wait list for Bing, the new version of Bing. And I will say that when I went to join the wait list, rather than just asking for my email, I had to log into a Microsoft account I didn't know I had. So it made me register for Microsoft, which then made me realize how much I hate having to navigate Microsoft's accounts. Because when my children wanted to play Minecraft, I had to create Microsoft's accounts. Then to actually manage anything in Microsoft, you have to navigate these crazy web of like, which account am I in? What preference pages am I on? Can I do it in the app? Oh no, I got to go to the Microsoft site. And it reminded me why Microsoft has been in the position they're in all this time. There is a friction-filled process to work with Microsoft products, in my opinion. Whether it's been Skype or Minecraft or Microsoft products. Again, I didn't even know I had an account. And then I was like, well, I don't even know where this account goes to. And then it was actually verifying on an old email address, and I have no idea how to even change that. And I was like, oh my God. Like, and in that moment, and again, this is just one person's subjective opinion, I don't think at the end of the day, Microsoft makes a meaningful impact on market share here, because the friction to move off of the way I or other people do things is so great. Like for me to test Bing out and play around with it, no problem. I'll do it. I'll check it out. But chances are either Google's going to have a better version in 3 months, or Cohere built into Google, or Neva, U.com, like take your pick. And so I think it's a really interesting moment for Microsoft. I'm happy that they're having this success. I wouldn't bet against OpenAI and their relationship. But Microsoft has a lot of legacy perceptions about how challenging it is to work in their platform, at least for me, that I cannot see myself at this moment doing what like Kevin in the New York Times said, like Bing's now my default browser.
Right.
Or Edge, my new default browser, Bing's the default search. I don't see that happening in any significant way. I could see maybe market share shifts a few percentage points, and that's not an insignificant amount of money. But at the end, I think Satya has a larger strategy at play here than just search. So again, I'm not saying I'm keeping these comments specific to like search in particular, because that's what we're talking about. But I think there's maybe a Trojan horse here that that they're doing this for a reason, and winning search isn't actually the reason they're doing this, but it's a really interesting way to force Google's hand in the process. So yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm just kind of like riffing here, but that was I'm happy. It looks impressive. People seem really impressed by it. I haven't had a chance to test it yet because I'm on the wait list through whatever account I finally got logged in through. And at the end of the day, I don't think we're going to see a meaningful shift in metrics from a search perspective.
Yeah, and like we've discussed on previous podcasts, search is really, it's easy to get distracted by kind of the big headlines and shiny objects here. I mean, search is just one piece of the puzzle. I mean, Microsoft, for better or for worse, and I'm sure their user experience is not great on some of the other productivity apps they have, but they're embedded in so much of corporate America, and they're rolling out these types of capabilities in other tools as well, like Teams and Office.
Right. And those people aren't switching. Like, that's the thing, is if you're going after enterprise users, I'm sorry, like Microsoft people aren't switching to Google for a better search experience, and Google people aren't switching to Microsoft for a better search experience. It's just like, I'm not saying it's trivial, because it's the majority of Google's business is their ad revenue from it. But I just feel like 3-6 months from now, we're not talking about search engines here. I think we're talking about much bigger shifts in business communications, creativity, and the search stuff is just going to have been like a footnote, basically.